Yo, Vibe Tribe, what's up? It's Zach Plotkin, your host, and we're back with another VyBCast. Sitting next to me is co-host Mason Cohen.
Yo, Vibe Tribe, what is up?
And I couldn't be more excited to introduce to you our guest, Dom Hadley.
Yo, Vibe Tribe, what's up? It's Dom from the UK.
You're an exchange student?
Yeah.
How'd you end up here at Drexel?
So for my course, it's a 4-year course, and on your 3rd year, you can either you work for a company or you can go a year abroad. I thought I want to go a year abroad because you can work for a company like the rest of your life. You'll be working for the majority of your life. So I thought I wanted someone that's English speaking. I was going to choose either Australia, Canada, or America. But I thought for what I'm doing with the YouTube, the fashion, I thought coming to America, and especially Philadelphia, it's so close to New York, which is like one of the fashion capitals of the world. So for my video content, it was so much better.
Have you ever been to Philadelphia before?
Nah, this is my first time in the whole time in America.
Really?
First time.
Wow.
Crazy.
It's crazy.
What's it like?
So much more. I prefer it. There's so much more to do. Like literally, like the city, my home city is like 40,000 people.
Wow.
Tiny city, looks like something off like Harry Potter. Looks like Hogwarts. So, like,
What city?
It's called Chester. So I just say I'm from Manchester because no one knows where Chester is. And so stuff like Philadelphia, there's like always stuff going on. You can see so many spots, and then like the access to New York, which is only 2 hours away.
I was just in New York.
Yeah, I can never get bored of New York.
Right. So at Drexel, what are you studying?
So I do international business, but I'm allowed to choose pretty much any like business like courses. So I do a lot of entrepreneurship courses because I want to set up my own business, which I currently already own in partnership. And then I also do a load of just like business ones, finance and accounting and stuff like that.
So tell me about that. So your business, you're in the fashion industry.
Yeah.
You're clearly super passionate about fashion. I can tell by the outfit when you walked in.
Kids rocking Skechers.
Bringing them back.
So tell me about it. Like what's your business? What do you do? I guess explain about like how that works.
So the first kind of style is through my YouTube. So I've been doing a fashion blog now for about 3 years. So I kind of gained like a personal brand. And then I'm mainly into like my vintage clothing because I like how you can get stuff for a lot cheaper. You don't have to pay like high designer stuff prices. And then I thought, why not make a business out of it? Because I was thrifting all these clothes like in America and England at charity shops for really cheap. And like I knew the market because I know what people like to wear. And kind of if I wear something on a photo with a personal branding, people will pay for it, and I could make up to like 300% profit margins because you can get a shirt from America for like $1, and you can sell it for like literally like $30 in the UK.
Wow.
So I thought in the US the thrift stores are even better. So I thought let's source mainly majority of our items from America. Like we source all our clothing from worldwide, but mainly from America, and then like I'll gain like a batch of stuff, ship it home to the UK, and then we sell it in the UK for like higher profit margins.
Wow. So what's the difference between thrifting in the UK versus thrifting here in America?
They don't have thrift stores in the UK.
Really?
So we have like...
Why?
Yeah, I don't know, it's just not a thing. We have charity shops, charity shop is kind of like, it's kind of similar to a thrift store, like people donate clothes.
Like Goodwill.
Donate clothes, but they kind of know the brand. So if they see it's a branded piece, so say if they see it's Tommy Hilfiger, they'll put it at like $12.
Okay.
Whereas in Goodwill, they just don't even care what the brand is, they just keep it like a stable price.
Standard.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So your business, right? You're shipping clothes international. That's pretty cool. How does that work? Like, are you a one-man operation? Do you have a team?
So
partnership?
we're in partnership. So I have another partner, and it was actually probably one of the biggest risks I took ever. Because I always like vintage clothes, and he had like a really small vintage clothing business with like, I don't know, 400 followers, and I really liked the clothes he was selling. So I just said like, I've got the personal brand, so I can do like the marketing for it, and you've got like the supplier. Let's like partner up. So I'd never met this kid. So
You just met him on Instagram.
Yeah, on Instagram. So he's like 2 years below me.
Wow.
So we just set this business. We met each other. We went and met each other. He's literally like 4-hour train journey away. Met up with him. We had like
From America?
No, from England. I started in the
UK.
UK first, and then literally ended up speaking. So we've got like found his supplier first and mine, and then like as we've grown the business now, we've like found more in America. So I go thrifting, but then we still buy from like suppliers in like Thailand and China and Pakistan. So we buy pretty much all over the world because obviously when you buy abroad, you can get like a big bulk discount as well. The economies of scale.
So how long ago was that?
So we started January 2018.
So I'm guessing it's been working out a little bit.
Yeah, it's been working out. I think we sold like over 850 products. And that.
Wow.
This is very cool.
Yeah.
Who's your biggest customer demographic? Like who are you making?
So it's mainly from the UK, between like 18 to 25. So usually that's students of some new clothes, and because vintage clothes aren't too expensive. But surprisingly, we've had a load of worldwide customers. Like we get a lot from Australia, which I think's really weird. And the one that's probably the worst I feel is bad is, because I ship the stuff back to England, we get quite a few customers from the US, so they have to pay like $20 shipping,
Wait, so that you ship it there then?
Yeah, because we mainly sell our products to the UK.
So you house it in the
UK? House it in the UK, but we sometimes get a few US sellers.
Where do you keep it? Just like at a...
so we usually, the way we do it is, we take it in turns per box. So if I order a batch and then get it to me, then he'd get one to him. But at the moment, everything's with him because obviously I'm in America. So he's just like redone his whole garage. He's set up like rails. I mean, I can show you a thing after, but you can't see it on the podcast.
Yeah. So how are you actually selling to these like international customers? Is it online, Instagram?
So usually, so like we have our own website, but the way to promote it, every single time I do a video, I'll say like, oh, be sure to check out my site, Payday Vintage, and then through our Instagram, we grew our Instagram in a year to like 14,000.
Wow.
All organic?
All organic, yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. So like if I wanted to buy a piece, I would go to your website?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I know you as a friend, so I'd do you a discount, so you could just do it.
Thank you.
So how'd you get started with like this whole entire Instagram and brand?
Yeah, so that's strange. So Instagram, I just always did kind of just everyone just likes to show photos of their life. Yeah. And then I started YouTube, very random one. I actually started with my brother. It was when you were like, I think I was 16 maybe. So on our summer holidays in the UK, you get like 4 months off from May to September. Wow. So there's a lot of the time you just playing out with friends, like football or soccer, as you should say. And we always watch YouTube. We watched like people like Niga Higa and KSI, we just thought, why don't we just give it a go? We thought not tell anyone because, I don't know, to do YouTube in the UK at that time, everyone would just take the piss out of you. And I made these pair of, like Nike ID. It's like you make your own shoe, custom shoe. It was like Adidas ID, and I made these all red pair of ZX Flux. They're terrible. They had like Hadley on the back of them. Oh, they're so terrible. We made a video
looking back at it.
Looking back at it now, worst shoes I've ever had. But it was the time when if you remember them, Nike Air Max Independence Day and the
those were awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. So I was like, oh, red shoes. Let's make my own pair.
They had the Velcro and it was like white, blue, and red.
Yeah. So that's what I kind of got inspiration of. And then I made that video and somehow it got like 30,000 views. I don't know why. But I think YouTube really promotes your first video. And back then, no one was really doing fashion. I was like 4 people, I'd say 4 or 5 doing fashion. So we carried on doing it. We called it Payday Pickup. So basically our main concept was every month we show what we pick up. So like monthly pickup. So at the end of the month, we just like do a haul. My brother basically is 4 years above me. So he ended up quitting because he works full time, so he just didn't really have the time. He's not really spending his money on clothes. So I carried it on, and then when I did my first like brand deal and got sent free clothes, I was like, oh my god, like this is insane.
How long did it take from when you initially started?
Literally, it was like, I think it was like 2 months in. We didn't even have that many followers. I think we only had like 200, but this brand was like a new startup from like a city around me, and they liked the concept of like doing like, it's kind of like a free video advertisement. So they just sent me it was only a t-shirt, but look at that, at then I was like, oh my god, this is insane.
Yeah.
And then
it still is.
Yeah, it still is. And then, oh man, there was a phase where, I mean, if you watch my first videos, they are terrible. Like, honestly, they are terrible. It's a learning curve. And then I came to university, surprisingly, so like 2 years ago, and I only had 2,000 subscribers. And then I did 2 videos which blew up. Like, one's got 1.2 million, one's got 800,000.
Wow.
And I gained like 30,000 subscribers in like 8 months, I think. So now I'm at like 41,000.
Very cool. Yeah. So I was actually watching one of your videos before you got here.
Yeah.
And I noticed like the editing is pretty tight.
Yeah, so all the editing is done by myself.
Really?
Everything.
And you learned that as you went along?
Yeah, I learned that as I went on. Majority of the things, you can just watch YouTube tutorials. I watch a lot of YouTube tutorials. And then I try and like make sure, obviously you edit it to the beat, and then I try and like try something new every single time to keep, because I just want to keep, I prefer like quality over like the quantity of my footage.
I can't help but think like, take away the school aspect of you being here.
Yeah.
How do you have time to just balance like all your work stuff, YouTube work, and then now you add school and stuff?
Well, in the UK it was definitely harder. Luckily with here, because
harder in the UK.
Yeah, because my year abroad here, I just need to pass. So I take the minimum credits. So I'm only in on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays. So I only take four modules. I mean, the thing with America, you do quite a lot more homework every single week. You have to do like assignments. But then obviously I have like 4 days off to film, so I usually just set time aside, and then I post 2 videos every single week.
2 videos every single week.
That's the aim. Sometimes 3.
Wow. Yeah. So I know that like I watch a lot of YouTube. I watch some fashion YouTube as well. But I know that the key to like being successful is consistency, right?
Yeah, most definitely.
So, like, do you have you said you have a schedule?
Schedule, yeah. So I try and get always one on a Sunday because that's when the majority of people are watching videos. And then usually there's actually one time that I kind of post on this Thursday. There's basically this huge fashion channel. They've got like a whole production behind them. They're on like 800,000. They have like a full team.
Wow.
But they post at 8 p.m. every Thursday. So I usually post at the same time because hopefully you'll come up on there like, you know, recommended.
Yep.
So then obviously get more
Wow,
views.
smart.
Yeah.
Smart.
What's your favorite brand? Like vintage?
Vintage, Tommy Hilfiger's my favourite.
Okay.
Vintage Tommy Hilfiger. The thing I like about vintage clothing is I feel like it puts so much more attention to detail. Like you can get like different colour embroidery, patches, fleece work, and it still comes at a very cheap price point. And you still kind of get the same feeling as like people hypebeast do with Supreme. Like they buy these big items because no one else has them. So I kind of feel like you kind of get the same thing with vintage clothing. You could find a Tommy fleece, which no one else has, and you paid less money.
What would you say a common like myth about fashion is?
Common myth about fashion, like you need to spend money to dress well. You don't have to spend a lot of money. I feel like what I realize a lot in America as well, a lot of people are very creative because obviously like, the rap culture is so big, so people want to like stand out and be different. And when I go to like New York and I film videos, so many people have like created their own pieces, like DIY, sewed, painted on them, and I think that looks so much better than just the standard. Just like
there's a lot of kids in our entrepreneurship classes that make their own.
Even people like in our class, like Jackson,
Yeah.
I can't remember what the other kid's called. He was wearing that cropped like tie-dye hoodie they made.
Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
So you told us like the brand you like. What's something in fashion that like when you look at it, you cringe a little bit? You know what I mean?
Cringe. Yeah, mine usually is when people are just like, as you say, the really hype beats where they literally just mix any expensive brand style. Like they'll just wear like a Gucci hoodie, off-white pants. I mean, you see quite a lot of people actually wearing the same. They have like they're wearing literally like a $10,000 outfit. And I'm thinking, and sometimes they don't even know how to pair it together. They just think, just because it's all worth a lot of money, then it looks good.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
It's like people will buy like the most expensive like Louis Vuitton sweaters and stuff, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it looks good, you know?
Like that Louis Vuitton Supreme Club, that one, that the big red hoodie, like I think that is horrible, but I mean, it's worth loads. Like I'd buy it to sell it, but to wear it, nah.
I always see these pictures on Instagram with these captions saying like people that are like quote unquote poor, like buying clothes, you know, like designer clothes to like look rich. It's like the exact opposite. People that are rich don't have the designer clothes. And I'm like, I always think that like fashion should just be like how you.
It's how you, and that's the thing. And I feel like it's definitely
express yourself.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely something you gain in university because you start becoming a lot more independent. Like I'd say, when I first started YouTube, my fashion sense was literally the same as like everyone else's. Like in the UK, it was a big thing. There's a big thing. You probably see it from like, you've heard of Geordie Shore before? It's like the English Jersey Shore. It's a TV show.
I have.
Like all these reality TV, all these boys wear like spray on skinny jeans, like tight muscle t-shirts, and like everyone would dress the same. Like, I was from a small city, so it'd be hard to like find your own personal style. But then after going to university, you meet so many different people, and I think that's when I like gained my personal style. And it still changes. Like in America, it's definitely changed a lot more as well.
Your style is
I think it's changed a lot more.
How do you think it's changed?
A lot more baggier clothing. In the US, it's not really skin tight clothing at all or anything like that. And I just feel like I've been introduced to a few more like independent brands when being in like New York and the Philadelphia area.
Yeah, that's sick. So you were telling me before that you traveled to like a bunch of the major cities here in the US?
So
like where'd you go?
So I've been to DC, New York, and LA.
What's your favorite and which one had the best fashion?
Ooh, good question.
Surprisingly, everyone obviously says like it's a competition usually between LA and New York. Me personally, I prefer New York. I loved LA. Obviously, it's got the good weather, and like it was my first time seeing it. There's loads of things to do. But I just didn't like how spread out it was. It's not really like a city vibe. Whereas in New York, if you want to meet someone, you can just get the subway and go see them. Whereas like from Hollywood to the beach in LA was like an hour drive.
Wow.
So I feel like you're only going to meet people. Like every time I get to New York, I've got my camera. I usually meet someone, like take their contact details. Whereas in LA, if you're going to do something, you kind of have to spend out your whole day, like plan to do it. And I guess I'm being biased because I was only in LA for a week, but I think the fashion in New York is better. And I was there for New York Fashion Week, and like some of the outfits there were insane.
Yeah. Do you think you'll ever live in New York one day?
That is the aim. I think I wouldn't live in America forever because the free healthcare in the UK is just like so useful. But I think if I was to move anywhere, it'd be to New York for like a couple of years, definitely.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's
You know, you're a very skillful person, entrepreneur. You have your own business and you have YouTube. What would you say some like skills that have definitely helped you propel you to where you're at?
Definitely networking. Just like be nice to everyone you meet. Like I should say, when I first met you, we spoke straight away, and like obviously now we've come to something to make this podcast together. Like we're gonna be a good like contact like in future if you need help with business. For example, both of you, if you need help with anything in the UK, if you want to bring back to the UK, then obviously I can give you like an outlet to help you. I just think it's always that if you be nice to someone, then they're gonna be the same to you, and then obviously try and stay around like like-minded people. Like I have my really close friends at home, some of them which I really aren't into what I do, but say when I'm in America, I kind of chose to be around people who like are into YouTube, help filming, and kind of like that kind of excels you in the way you do it.
Did you know anybody before you came here?
I only knew one of the lads from my university, but like I wasn't like friends with them. Now we're like really good friends, but I know no one else.
And you just immersed yourself.
You're on an empty slate, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, like you kind of create your whatever identity you really want to create for yourself.
So the one reason why I love meeting people like you, right, is because everything you do is driven from your passion, like passion of fashion, cool clothes, not getting ripped off at designer stores. So like, I just love to see people that are following their passion. Like you're creating a business out of it, a YouTube, a following, a network, and like tell me about like how your passion has motivated you, like from when you started your YouTube channel to like today. You know what I mean?
Surprisingly as well, one of my main motivators, it sounds really weird, was when people actually took the piss. Like in my home city, like, oh my God, I was a laughing stock for a while.
Wow.
But I don't know why, it motivated me more just because I thought like, I've got like, if I gave up, then you're going to carry on taking the piss out of. So I just thought, I'd just learn more, make our content even better. And then like now some of them are literally like, would completely like bum me if they saw me now, like, oh Dom, I love your videos, when in the past they'd be like laughing at me.
Yeah.
So that was one of the main motivators. And then now just I don't want to work like the standard 9-to-5 job when I finish uni. I want to get my degree. It's kind of like something to fall back on, like an insurance. So I've got my degree, so if anything obviously fails, maybe I'm my own business owner, I can end up getting a job. So, and as I mentioned before, that Danya Faguli, the rapper, the Cash Me Outside girl, like after seeing her becoming rich from just Cash Me Outside, like she's like is she a millionaire or a billionaire now?
She's a millionaire.
Millionaire. She's got songs with Lil Yachty, T.Y. Dolla $ign. So after seeing that, it just shows like how big you can make money from social media and like the growth of social media advertisement, and there's so much money in there.
And I think that's similar to like you and her, like we're both motivated by like kind of haters almost, right?
Yeah.
So, like, and I respect that so much because everything in life is like what you make out of it, right? It's like all about perspective. So you can be like the most hated person in the world, which this Cash Me Outside girl was for a moment in time, and she turned it into a business, a $1 million record deal, like fame. She's a celebrity. She has like a Snapchat like TV show. It's crazy.
And she could have just taken that, like the whole thing with Dr. Phil, and then totally just went underground, and everybody forgets about her. And then 10 years later, like you just come across that video on YouTube. Now she started, like you just said. Yeah, it's kind of weird to think about.
I respect it so much because like she could like you
so
said,
much.
Zach, she could have failed. She could have been sad. She could have been overwhelmed by the hate, but she was strong enough to overcome that and turn it into something positive for herself.
What was she, like 15? Like that was crazy.
Yeah, that's
13.
13. Yeah, how that mental health to be like, especially from something like that. She would have got so much hate. So that's the thing. I think one of the big things for people to do with YouTube is to like not care what people think, unless they're like your close mates.
Yeah.
Like if my video was terrible, my best mate would be completely honest with me, or just give you got to take constructive criticism at times, but to the standard of the people, like she would have got so much hate, just it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. How do you do with like comments and like Instagram comments, and do you read them or?
Yeah, I usually try to stay engaged with as many as possible. Like sometimes it's quite hard like to stay updated with like Instagram DMs, but YouTube comments I usually try and comment back to every single one.
Okay, that's awesome. And like you just mentioned before, you gotta take constructive criticism, but you also have to like know what you're trying to do yourself. You know, it's a balance between being coachable and also like not taking the hate.
Some people take the hate far too personally, and that's what demotivates people to try like new things.
Absolutely.
So when you keep every single thing you say, I keep thinking like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like there's a lot about you that obviously we could talk about. But one thing that I wanted to just get from you is when you want to learn something, where do you go and how do you turn that into whatever?
So first of all, I feel like I try and do things myself. So I either like read books, search tutorials on YouTube, and then after that, there's always someone I feel like better than you. So it's like this is an analogy. It's like a question. Say there's a room of people in a workspace. There's 30 people in the room, and the person says, "Put your hand up if you know who the top salesman is." And then every single person in the room puts their hand up. And then put your hand up if you've ever took him for a meal or anything, and no one puts their hands up. If you took that guy for a meal, you'd find out why he was the best salesman. So that makes you better. So there's always someone you can learn off better. So I always try to speak to like bigger YouTubers, people who've got bigger businesses than me, because I mean they want to help small businesses, unless they're your main competitor or like a dick. Usually people give you some healthy advice. So I always try to ask. The more you ask, if you don't ask, you don't get.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that also goes into like what you were saying earlier about networking, right?
Yeah.
Like there is always someone smarter than you in the room. Yeah. And I believe it was the owner of Alibaba. I might be incorrect. Jack Ma, right? He has a super famous like interview when he was saying he's not the smartest guy in the room at all at all times. But what he does do is he brings the smartest people together into the same room so they can figure out the problems and then they can come up with the solutions to create a successful business. And like that's so true. And he's not like the richest man in China, I believe, but he's very humble, and he says like he finds the smartest people and brings them together to create wonderful things.
Yeah. And that's what like I want to try and do, because obviously now I've got the following, I can bring other people who I think are like talented and help them through their business, and then they're obviously going to help me in return in future.
Yeah.
Do you ever have people that like stop you in the streets?
I have in New York actually quite a few times.
Really?
And I ask for like photos.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just like it's quite surreal, because obviously I don't see myself as like big yet, but I just speak to them normally like a friend, because obviously I just fully appreciate that they're going out of their way to do that.
Where do you want to be?
I don't want to be eventually. So my aim is obviously when you hit the 100,000 subscriber mark, that's when you can kind of like be earning enough revenue from YouTube ads to like do it kind of like comfortably, like living full time. So at the moment I'm at 40,000. Hopefully want to get to 60,000 by the end of this summer, and then try and get to 100,000 by the time I graduate. So then I've kind of got like a good enough platform. But I'm actually going to start next year a second YouTube channel with my friend, because with fashion I feel like you can grow but you can't really get to the peak, whereas me and my friend want to do like videos which are like try and get like viral views, because I feel like I don't know, I watch YouTube all the time, so I kind of know what, like you see like people like Mr. Beast, like literally he's so smart. He went to brand deals. Who? Mr. Beast.
So smart.
He's one of the like biggest YouTubers now. He's got like 20 million. He basically went to all these big brands and just said like, I'm gonna do this video. We're giving like 10,000 to homeless people. It's gonna get this many views. If you sponsor this video, give us $10,000 for the video, then will you let us do it? And he just does like loads of videos like last person to leave like a swimming pool wins like $2,000, and obviously a brand just sponsors it, so he doesn't lose any money. Then he makes money from the YouTube ad revenue, and now he's like growing a brand to like 20 million.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really impressive what he does, because his model kind of reminds me of drop shipping. Do you know drop shipping?
Yeah, oh my god, I tried it at one point.
Drop shipping is like,
you tried it?
For viewers. I tried it too.
Yeah.
But drop shipping is basically where you have an online store and you promote it, and you have a supplier who takes the order and ships it for you, and then they just send you your check, right?
How was drop shipping? I've not done it, but
so basically it all relies on the promoter.
Yeah,
like, how many people can you sell that item to? You know, so like people were drop shipping fidget spinners, hoverboards, anything that was viral has been drop shipped. Like especially on Facebook, I think.
The only problem I thought was sometimes like when their delivery didn't come, it's kind of like not your fault, it's the supplier's fault, and then you've got to kind of go in between, because the supplier doesn't even know that you're the person who bought it, kind of thing, because they think it's going to that person bought it. So you've got to kind of get in between.
You're the middleman.
Yeah, you have to be the middleman. So sometimes that was the only problem, and some of the things I was dropshipping were from like China, so it's like 2 to 3 weeks delivery. So people are like, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Did you like make money?
Yeah, you make money from it. Yeah.
So you made a profit from it?
Yeah, I made a profit from it, definitely. At the time, it only happens for like a short period of time. It's like, just say,
big viral items.
Yeah.
viral items get drop shipped. You know,
Because like I always get these ads on Instagram for drop shipping.
Yeah, all
like,
them ones
really
to buy my business course. All them ones.
Oh yeah, those get so annoying.
$1,000 a day.
I love the YouTube ads. Or
Oh
like they're always in the late night.
Yeah.
When you're watching YouTube late night, these like 10-minute ads come up. It's like how I was homeless and how I made $10,000 a day in the first week, and it's like, come on, dude.
Yeah, just like come on, this is not real.
It is possible though.
Yeah.
I actually do have a few friends that are pulling six digits in like every 2 months.
Yeah.
So it's
That's crazy.
it's definitely possible if you just have to like crack the code on how to market, how to hit the targeted advertisements like perfectly, and like do it consistently is the hard part because it is like viral items, you know. So
that's why I want to definitely try and hit next the reselling market. You know, like obviously for all the hypey stuff.
Yeah.
Because I spoke to one of the kids I made friends with. He's basically really into the reseller, and he knows plugs in New York, so they sort him like backdoor shoes and stuff. And like you remember when that Supreme Louis Vuitton came out, he was in London and he knew someone, so he paid like $1,000 for a place in the queue, close place in the queue. He got 8 of the items and he sold them in one day, made $80,000 profit a day.
Wow. Yeah.
Probably a good dinner that night.
Just eating well. But that like everything ties into like being nice to people and like having that network.
Yeah,
100%.
That's be kind and don't really expect anything in return.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you expect something and you don't get it, then you're just gonna be left like, kind of sad.
Yeah, you have to do stuff like out of your own like genuine like heart, you know.
So to wrap it up, I like to ask, what can we expect from you in 6 months?
6 months.
Yeah.
I'll be back in England, so I'm going to do a bit of traveling, make some more videos, try and network more. I'm going to be filming this. Basically, we're doing three or 4 music festivals with our vintage business. So we basically have our own stall at 4 music festivals. Wow. So they get like 100,000 people there. So we should hopefully be selling a lot. I'm going to film like the whole thing. And I think I'm going to do another business series where I kind of like this, like a podcast, but a video. So I'm going to go to like entrepreneurs that I know from home, like ones who've set up their own events companies, set up their own clothing stores, and do kind of like a podcast / documentary on them.
That's it.
Well, you'll definitely have to fill us in.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, keep us, like, let's just have social media, you know. keep us connected.
100%.
Guys, if you want to find Dom on social media, what's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram is domhadley_. My YouTube is Payday Pickups, and my business is Payday Vintage.
And if you want to get any sick vintage clothes, Tommy Hilfiger, Marlboro, anything, like the hottest stuff,
you know where to go.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate that.
Well, thank you guys. Vibe Tribe, we out.